Well, can you tell what it is yet? Yes, it's a boxed Rotel 230 from 1981. Oh, it comes with a destruction book. This is the last one in this batch from this customer, so we can start on some individuals of the non-trade variety. So we're only doing 1.5 CB repairs a week whilst this organ job's underway. Just make sure there's nothing on the mat. I'll take the screws out, but we won't do anything until I've done the little tests. So usually you get the extra receive circuit on these, but not always. It's a bit of a unpredictable. You seem to always get them on the Harvard 420M. I mean, you wouldn't think that was 41, 42 years old, would you? Unbelievable. Where have these been? I think a lot of people bought sets when they were cleared. Boots the Chemists, of all people who were selling CB radios, they cleared them come 83, and they were selling the likes of this for $16.99, you know, to clear them. And I think one or two people who thought, well, it might be handy to have a CB radio. I think one or two people bought them and they ended up in a cupboard, and those people have passed away, and these have got sold on as ex-bereavement. Right, we'll connect it up to the test equipment. We'll put the PA speaker in the PA, and we'll put the instrument speaker into the extension speaker. Quick read of his notes. Oh, that's the gentleman. Yeah, this is come from several sources. Right, okay, forget that. I'll switch the power supply on, go to 9 volts just initially. That's powered up, it's drawing 80 milliamps. Right, we'll go to 13.8 volts, current limited to 1.6 amps, and pick the service all up off the floor. It's in PA mode, so that's why there was no display. So that's lit up nicely. We'll plug the microphone in. And we will start off in PA. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. So it works on the volume control on this. Switch to CB. Just seeing how it mutes CB. Yeah. Yeah, that works as you'd expect it to work. Right, we'll switch picture in picture on. We'll go to the 3 watt scale. I'll just pop the squelch up a bit. So it's doing more than 3 watts. It's doing 3.1 watts. Rotel RVC230, 3.1 watts, deviation, wallow, it's never been touched this, 1.4 kilohertz, frequency test gear's not been on very long, but we'll take it with a pinch of salt, but won't be that far out. 27790, yeah, it's out of spec. But it's not out of spec far enough to be illegal. So with those figures, we'll go and put that into the signal generator. So it's 2779081. So, in other words, we're testing the receive on the frequency we know the radio's set to, so that it's fair. Right, we'll switch the SINAD meter on. See what we're getting. Just pop the squelch down, make sure RF gain's up. Oh, it's incredible. 0.27 microvolts for 12 dB SINAD. So the receive's beautiful. Just a transmit that's as low as ever when they're new. I've said before, it's all about shipping them so that if they're spot checked, the batch doesn't get rejected. Right, we'll turn the volume down. I'm going to check the VCO, because with it being a new set from a long time ago, it may well have drifted. So one of Mr. Chippy's crocodile clip lead, I can't afford them. We'll go over to resistor 4 far side. It should be 4 volts plus or minus 0.1. I mean, that's as near as damn it, but I may as well just do that. So that's our receive one. Let's just go and check transmit. That's a little bit further out. With the red trimmer, we want it to somewhere near 4 volts. You just end up with channels missing in cold or hot weather. A bit like a new Midland 78 plus multi normally. I think we'll have it at 3.8. And that's receipt. Go to channel 1. That's within the 1.8 to 2.3 it's supposed to be. And that's also within where we want it to be. So that was worth checking. I hate it to come back because it didn't work on channel 39. Good, that's the end of that. So remembering to put the set back to channel 20, we'll tune up the transmitter. That's too hot to move, too stiff to move. I'll put the soldering iron on, otherwise we might have to get a hairdryer out. I'll go through the PA because it's not going to, that isn't going to make probably no difference whatsoever, because the other two were peaked. No, we haven't got the extra receive circuit on this one. So once again we're going to peak L4, is it L6 and L7 7, I think it is. Anyway, the yellow one, the white one, and the green one. Got to do this quite quickly because we don't want it on full power for a very long time. You can end up with smoke coming out of the set and worse. So peak, let go, peak, let go, it's 4.1, peak, 4.6, and just check it again. It's about 4.8 watts at the moment at absolute maximum. Now, need to take L4 clockwise for 4.4 watts and L9 anti-clockwise. They say for 3.8 watts, but we're going to do a full 4 watts. And then we check it on the other channels, as in channel 1 and 40. So let's see where we are. It needs to be within 0.1 really. Spot on 4 on channel 1. Spot on 4 on channel 40. That's one of the most balanced ones I've ever seen. Just put a bit of heat on this coil without melting the former. Otherwise it's onto the hairdryer. And that is the peak. It was at the peak. So that's fine. That's transmit. Isn't it nice when it's straightforward? I'm just going to feel the temperature of some of these parts. So let's key up and see where the meter says. So we know it's spot on 4 watts. The meter's banging across to 5 plus. So we'll adjust the meter until that says 4. But as I've said a million times before, stop exaggerating, Mr. 21. When we put that on an aerial, it could read 1, it could bang across. It doesn't mean the power has changed, it's still 4 watts. Low power, it's supposed to be 0.4 of a watt, 400 milliwatts. It's banging across. Oh, I pressed the wrong switch, that's why. It's doing about 50 milliwatts. I think that's going to want some service cell on it. They can play up. Just waggle it around a bit. $400 milliwatts we have. Go back to normal power. 4.05. Let's get it on frequency. Why can't I see the trimmer on this one? Because it's hidden by that wire. Okay. 2779125 we're looking for. toggling 6. So 4 watts. Deviation. I want the feedy backy one to the center position. And now we'll do the deviation with the horizontal one. Wow, it's a bit low still. That's a bit dirty. See where that is. Wallow, wallow. A bit loud. Wallow. Just check I'm tuned right. Wallow. Wallow. Spot on. It just seems to be moving a bit, but it isn't. It's not quite 2.5 on the peak, so it's where we want it. It's 2.2 to 2.45 kilohertz, so that's great. Let's look at receive. This could be the shortest video ever for a Cybernet 134. So we'll reset the signal generator so that it's now on the correct frequency of 27.79125. I'll keep the soldering iron on for a bit longer because you know perfectly well if I turn it off then I'll need it again, and if I don't turn it off I won't need it. That's how it works. We'll start with an S9 signal of 100 microvolts, and we'll look at the oscilloscope. We'll make sure that we've got maximum recovered audio. The detector call there. Wow, that was a bit out. Right, we'll now go to the SINAD meter. Don't know why that camera is not set right. I'll turn that oscilloscope off and save some electricity. We'll turn the volume down a little bit, and we'll turn the signal down so we're not saturating the receiver to about 4 dB SINAD. Here goes. You know what, we just gained a little fraction there. Turn it back down. Next coil. No, that's correct. That's correct. Now we're going to do some IF ones, just go for a bigger signal and a bigger tool. No, that's it, we're done. So we'll read off what we've now got for our 12 dB sensitivity. We're now on 0.26. There we go. Right, we'll go back to an S9 signal, we'll set the meter. Show the attenuator controls. So it's supposed to be reading S9. It's about spot on. I will just touch it. There we go. And we now need to check the squelch. So we're going to turn the squelch to full. And as we advance the signal generator to 100 microvolts, I want the squelch to open. So 3 microvolts, 10, 30, 100, it opens. If it didn't, we'd have to adjust the preset just there. We're not going to touch it, it's spot on. Now we do the opposite, we turn the squelch down to minimum, switch the signal generator to standby. I've got the signal generator at 0.3 of a microvolt when we switch it back on. Set the squelch to threshold. Yep, that's threshold. Switch the signal generator back on. So here it goes. So it's coming in at 0.38 of a microvolt. It's going off about 0.34. Never the best squelch in the world on the Cybernet chassis, but it's adequate and it will work okay around Scratchy Corner. We're done. This could be the quickest ever. I'll be able to go to bed for a lie down. Right. We'll still really must finish that PE Ranger next, I think. It's been sat here for months, waiting for parts for quite a few of them. So, that's those back on. Right, so when we've tested all the sets in this batch from this trade customer, that means they can all go back. Mr. Chippy's not here today. He obviously wasn't here on Christmas Day. It was New Year's Day yesterday, which is why I wasn't here yesterday and today. But he does other things as well as here. He has his amplifier, guitar amplifier jobs to do. He can't always fit in on the air test with us. I'll tell you what, when he does, there's going to be a backlog. There we go. Right, we'll plug it into the aerial, switch off the test gear. One Nana Roger. You'll be lucky. Nana Roger. Isn't it lovely living 35 miles from the nearest city? Out of range of all but the burner brigade. Right, well, we'll leave it on the bench. And that's that. If this is still on the bench when Mr. C's here for a test, we will do this one. And it saves carting it backwards and forwards from its box. So there you are, Rotel 230. Lovely set, original mic. Lovely box, instruction book, the whole shooting match. Thanks for watching.